Another lockdown cook along with the Shropshire lad. That's me. Gonna be my last one for a while, I think. Well, for at least for a week. I'm taking a week off work. I need to chill for a bit. I'm quite tired. Been doing quite a lot. So yeah, at least last one for the next week. Today, let's check that you can see everything that's going on here. Yeah, you can roughly. Let me just adjusting my camera. You can never tell until you're on. There we go, that looks good. Right, so I'm going to show you how to make mozzarella stuffed meatballs today. Indoors, a tasty tattooer. Hello mate, how you doing? Thanks for the comment. Yeah, right, so we're going to make some meatballs. Meatballs and spaghetti, everyone's favourite. Well, not everyone's favourite, but I like them. And it's pissing down with rain outside, excuse my French. So, ideal thing to cook. So let's get on it. Right, I've got some spaghetti. I'm gonna have to put down so you can see me again. I've got some water on here. Before I do anything, I'm gonna get my spaghetti cooking now because we're gonna only half. I'm gonna kneel down just so you can see me a bit better. We're only gonna half cook the spaghetti at this stage, and then leave it kind of al dente, and then it's gonna finish cooking in the sauce a little bit later on. So I've got some water boiling here. Before I add the spaghetti in, I'm gonna add a little tiny drop of oil. It's just gonna help it not stick together when it comes to it resting, and then a good pinch of salt into there, and then I'm just going to add probably like half a pack of spaghetti. Excuse my my rough Midlands tongue. Spaghetti. Right. Twist, drop it in, and then we just, as it loosens, we just sort of let that go down. Very, very simply, and we're going to cook that for about 6 or 7 minutes. It probably needs about 10 until it's completely cooked. We're going to half cook it. And just once that's all in, I'm going to have to get on my feet here. We can move on to making some meatballs. So I've got an average ball of mozzarella here, which is sort of like about 100 grams ish. I'm going to make 8. I've got 500 grams of mince. I'm going to make around about 8 meatballs from that. So what we need is to chop that in half and then quarter that half, so you end up kind of like four pieces from that piece and 4 pieces from this one. So you got your 8 pieces of mozzarella. You want a substantial amount of mozzarella in one of these meatballs, you know, you don't want to be some sort of like piddly ass meatball. And you want to know that it's in there, you want to bite into it and get that ooze, and the cheese pull is what we were aiming for. So I'm going to go for that. That was easy enough. Right, I'm going to just move that to one side. Right, I'm going to take a bowl now to make these meatballs. I've got the 500 grams of mince that's going to go in there, followed by a good pinch of salt. I'm going to go for some black pepper. I like loads of pepper. We're going to go for 1 egg, like so. And then we're going to go for about 100 grams of breadcrumbs as well. In fact, I'm just going to get that egg going with thing. Just break the yolk up a little bit. And then the breadcrumbs are going to go in as well, like so. And then all we need to do is just get our hands in there and really work all of those ingredients together so that you can't see any separate kind of bits of breadcrumb. You can't see any egg. It's just all incorporated together. Now, if we were making burgers, I would just say, you know, you don't need to be putting egg. You don't need to be putting the breadcrumbs in. But burgers are a different texture. They're a different game entirely to making meatballs. You want a meatball to be softer, so that's going to, the breadcrumbs and the egg is going to help that. But obviously, as it's softer, you also need to have some binding agent, so that's where the egg comes in. It's probably not completely essential, but you know it does help. Right, what I'm going to take this out of here now, just to show you what I'm going to do next. So put that there for a second. So once everything's mixed up like that, I'm going to place that on a plate. and I've kind of got like a massive burger patty there. To get roughly 8 equal pieces, if you just cut it in half, and then spin, half again, spin, half again, spin, half again. Okay, so there you've got your 8 pieces there, your 8 pieces of mozzarella. Next, I'm just going to turn this up a touch for once. Actually, need to turn it up. Oh, doesn't want to play ball. Lock. Unlock. What's going on here? Come on. Don't know what's going on here. Start again. Sorry about this. This is the joys of doing things live. Back on. Right, let's go. Well, that should be a little bit more ferocious now. I can hear it working. Spaghetti almost stopped there. Right, back to meatballs. Back to meatballs. So we take our section, one section at a time. Take it in your hand, roll it into a bit of a ball, okay, and then we're going to pat it out. I'm going to show you this up close. So, got the patty like this, okay. I think the light isn't very good. There we go. All right, and then just going to place your little mozzarella in the middle there, and then just gently kind of work the ball together, and then really pack it in tight, because what we don't want is that mozzarella to leak out, and then you basically made a meatball with mozzarella inside it. Super easy, but so much better than a meatball that hasn't got mozzarella inside it. Do you know what I mean? Right, okay. And we're definitely cooking now, that's great, so we can keep an eye on that. So if you're doing this at the same time as me, which is unlikely because I forgot to put the ingredients list out until about 10 minutes ago, so I doubt anybody's cooking along live today, but never mind. So if you are doing this, just keep an eye on that, because what we don't want is that spaghetti to overcook. So I'm going to show you what to look for in a minute whilst I go through these. So I'm just going to pat that down again, piece of mozzarella in the middle, try and get these done, because that spaghetti is not far away. So I'm going to try and work fast. Now it's boiling too hot. Can't win. This, if you've been following my cook-alongs over the weeks, you'll know that this cooker is the bane of my life. This is why I cook with fire most of the time, but it would have been miserable today, so that wasn't going to happen. Second meatball done. Trying to work quickly. Right, and then I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to check the spaghetti. So, flatten it out, mozzarella in the middle. You know the drill, I haven't got to keep repeating myself. Just make sure that that one's, there's a little gap emerging there, you probably can't see it from where you are, so that would leak mozzarella, we don't want that, so you've got to really check them to make sure that you've properly kind of made sure that there's no gaps. The last thing you want is to lose all that oozy cheese. Okay, so that's 3 of those done. Now it's time to check this spaghetti. So, I'm going to take a piece. Okay, now if you can bite it, there's a bit of crunch left. And there's a tiny bit of a white dot in the end. I've no way I can bring this up close enough to show you. But, I mean, that's still grinding my teeth, so it needs a little bit longer. But basically, when you've still got a tiny white dot in the middle, but the rest of it's cooked, that's when it's good to come off. That's probably got about another minute and a half. We'll make another 2 meatballs, and then we're going to be draining that. So, it's actually nearly coming over the top here. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's boiling hot. Right, carry on then, making the meatballs. Again, it's all about timing. If you're doing all this at once, you know, it really helps if you can kind of think about what to do when. So that's another meatball done. Now that spaghetti's virtually not cooking now. There's like, oh, we've got, yeah, it is cooking. Don't buy one of these induction hobs. If you've got an induction hob at home, I feel sorry for you. Hopefully it's better than this piece of crap I've got. But It means that I can do it in here and you can see what's going on, so we'll get there. It's all good. Right, another meatball. I reckon I can maybe get 3 done, because now that that's not going very fast, or maybe even all of them, because it's stopped boiling so ferociously now. So let's just quickly work through these and then we can get on with the next bit. Yeah, so I've got a week off work next week. I'm working from home throughout the lockdown. It's the first bit of holiday I've had, so fishing season starts. Going to be on the out catching some barbel, hopefully on the River Severn, cooking some food on the riverbank, just chilling out, man. It's been a long time, so apologies for not doing anything next week, but you know, man's got to chill occasionally. I probably won't be chilling. I'll probably be flat out cooking or doing other stuff, but to not have to think about this is actually been quite a challenge, to continue to think of stuff that I can cook within about 30 minutes for you guys while sort of standing around in here or over a fire. A lot of the stuff I cook probably takes longer than that, or you know, a bit more of a process. So if you have got anything that you think of that you'd really like to see me do, you think is realistic in a time frame, then drop me a DM, drop me a comment on here, say what you'd like, and you know, I'll do my best to fulfill your requests. Unless it's baking, because I'm crap at baking. I need you to show me, probably. Right, meatballs done. Time to check this spaghetti. Right, I'm just going to use a knife. Whoops. Right. That's perfect. Still got a little bit of bite, but pretty much cooked. And as I say, it's going to finish cooking in the sauce at the end. So I'm just going to drain that. I would normally do this in the sink, and I advise you do the same, but I don't have a sink here. So I'm doing it there. It's one way. Right, that can go to one side. I'm just going to hit that spaghetti with another little drizzle of oil. It's just going to stop it sticking together. That's all it's going to do. Okay, and then that can just sit to one side until we need it. Drop that over the back. Well, you can't see it, but it is there. Oh, you can see the steam coming off it. Right, and that's annoying me, so we're going to get a pan on there so it stops bleeding. We'll get some heat going in there. So some oil, sorry. So let's get a bit of oil down in there, and we're going to now fry off these meatballs. So I'm going to step it up a notch. It's probably going to be too hot going this thing. But we need to cook these meatballs off in some oil. So plenty of oil in the pan. Well, not plenty, but a bit, you know, enough so it's not going to stick. Just rub the oil all over these meatballs, and let's just get those ticking away in the pan, like so. Nice and easy. Just starting to fry. You just gently need to be ticking away. Don't need to be at a crazy heat at this stage. Just going to try and seal them in, because they're going to, again, these will also finish cooking in the liquid of the sauce. So they don't need to be fried. It's not like frying a burger where I'll be telling you to get it really hot. You know, these are just going to be kind of gently cooked in this saucepan. Sorry. Right. Whilst that is going on, I'm going to move that tiny bit of mozzarella. I'm going to just chop a couple of onions. I'm not going to go through chopping onions with you again because I do it every week. But just dice them up nice and fine. Well, not like, you know, not mega fine, but I'll show you. Sort of like centimetre squares will be absolutely perfect. And then we're going to chop some garlic as well. And once these meatballs have been sealed off and they're, you know, 2/3 cooked, then, oh, got some smoke coming. Just keep an eye on these meatballs, keep moving them around, and they shouldn't overcook. A nice bit of crust on that one. Whoop, this one's almost sticking. This pan is so hot all the time. There we go. Turn this down. So you don't want, if you cook these really fast, then they're going to split and burst open. This one's trying to do that already. You do see that. You can just try and help them along and close them up again. But just a gentle tick is what we need. Alright. Okay, back to the onions. Getting distracted. Peel that back. Always keeping an eye on what's going on with the meatballs. You could have these onions prepped earlier if you wanted to. I probably should have done that really. Okay, so I'm just roughly chopping those. Across like that. We're going to go for a second onion. But before that, we're going to give these another turn. That's it. So I've got the heat right now. It's just ticking away nice. Nice and gentle. It really will help to stop these from bursting. Just doing this at the right temperature. Not trying to get them cooked in like 2 seconds flat. Makes a huge difference. This is looking good. A few of them are splitting a little bit, that's okay though. Just help them along. You see I'm using my hands. The pink peaks of the meat aren't that hot, but you know, you can use some tongs. I probably advise using tongs really, especially if you're one of my youth group that are watching. Don't put your hands in like I am. Do as I say, not as I do. And all that jazz. I know you'd probably be doing it the opposite of whatever I say, because that's what you always do. You know what I'm talking to. Right. Okay. Second onion. I'm kneeling down so you can see what's going on, because I feel like my head is chopping off half the time. So we'll run that down there. And then across. So we've got one of those. Done. Okay, so that's the 2 onions done. Turn the meatballs again. You want to just make sure basically the outside is all sealed off on every meatball. So if you've got a pink bit showing, put it face down. Keep moving them around. Let's get all of these meatballs covered. That one's just split. I'm going to just take that out and just help it. They're a little bit delicate, these, but they should be awesome at the end. I hope they don't all split on me and I look really silly. I haven't made them for a while. And maybe, just maybe, you should make 6. If you're watching this back, with 500 grams, make 6, and you will have slightly bigger meatballs, but they'll have a bit more of a chance of holding together. Mine are, some of them are falling apart. Schoolboy error. You know, doesn't always go well for anybody, everybody. I'm talking nonsense. It's been a long week. Okay, keeping those going, they'll be fine. Right, garlic. Go for a couple of those of garlic, 3-4 cloves of garlic, it's fine. We'll chop those. So that's 1. There's paper. 2, 3. Chop that up, and then we've also got to do a pepper as well. This up a touch. So it's gone too cold now. I'm going to blame anything that goes wrong. I'm just going to blame the stove. It's a nightmare. There you go. It sounds better now. Right, chop that up. Then we're also going to go in with the red pepper. So great little tip for de-seeding the pepper. Thumb either side of it. Pop it in. Rip it. And there's your seed pod. No seeds inside, or 1 or 2, but just tap them out. And then you've got perfectly hard pepper. So that's, here we go. I think slightly higher heat's better, sealing them off before they split. Which is great. Right, that turned, that one turned. Alright. The good thing about mozzarella is it's not the kind of cheese that's really going to sort of disappear off, so it doesn't run. It will be like stringy when you eat it, but it's not. If you have the odd gap in your meatballs, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to. If you put cheddar in there, it's all going to disappear into the sauce, but that's not going to happen with mozzarella. Okay, so I think we're getting to the point where they might need to come out. They're all sealed off. It's there as well. So I'm just going to lift these out now, and they can just rest. It doesn't matter, I'm putting them back onto the plate that the raw meat was on, but that's okay because they're going to be cooked again yet. We're going to go back into this sauce at the end and cook slowly. That's too hot now. Really cannot win with this, this stove. Nightmare. I literally prefer to be cooking over an open fire, even without a grill when using this thing, but there we go. I might have to invest in something different for you guys because this is getting silly. There we go. It's working, it's working. We're alright. We will make it work. That one just needs sealing on the other side. And get those out. And then these tomatoes, these chopped onions can go straight in while I carry on chopping the pepper. So the ball's all sorted, meatballs done. So onions can go in now, which is great. Sweat those down. I'm going to help that along because my pan is being a bit of a pain. I'm just going to help it along with a little bit of stock. You should have your beef stock there. You should be alright if you're using your home cookers, because I'm using this tabletop one. Just needs to, it seems to get really hot in the middle, so that little bit of extra liquid will just help to kind of stop the burn. Let that cook down, get some of the liquids out of the onion in a sec. I'm also going to add some salt to that in a second once we've got these peppers chopped. So I'm chopping these peppers very similarly to how I did the onion. You want tiny little bite-sized pieces. This is going to be a sauce. You don't want huge pieces of pepper knocking around in your sauce. Turning that up now. Probably going to get too hot, but there we go. Keep an eye on it. So that can go in. Peppers in. Do the other half of the peppers. Smells amazing already. Love the smell of fried onions. Don't think there's anything better, to be honest. It's frying good, like it. I think the key for me here is probably going to keep those peppers moving and those onions. And they probably won't be too burnt, but if I left that in the middle, they'd be burnt. On the outside, they wouldn't be cooked, which is what I'm dealing with here. So get those moving. Bit of salt at this stage, always good. As we've got the liquid in there, I'm going to go in with the garlic as well. As I say, I never add the garlic first, it's because it burns very easily, and as soon as it burns, it caramelizes, it goes bitter, so we don't really want that. Just working the garlic in, keep sweating all of that down. Nice. Literally working those peppers and onions. It's cooking really quickly, which is fine, whilst I'm keeping things moving. So if you've got it on a high heat, just make sure that you keep moving. And you get it. All we're trying to do is reduce the amount of liquid that's in these peppers and onions. The more you reduce the liquid, the more intensify the flavour, and the better your sauce is going to take in the case in the end. You can keep that moving around. Okay, looking good. Bit of a mess, it's fine. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to add a tin of tomatoes. These are actually whole plum tomatoes. Chopped is fine. I'm actually going to chop these up just with the fork, or you can use the back of the spoon just to work them. The pan is still quite hot, so it's going to reduce down a little. That's okay because we're going to add some stock shortly anyway. Just work those in. Once they're broken down, you might not need to break them down if you've got chopped tomatoes. Work that into that. Put those down a little bit more. Lovely. It's looking good. Smelling amazing. Then we're going to go in with the brown sugar. So about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Tiny bit more salt. Work that through like that. Some tomato puree, probably about a tablespoon of tomato puree. And then I've got some fresh oregano here. Just going to chop that up. Like so. And that's going to go in too. You can use dried. In fact, I'm going to put some dried in mine as well. The Italians tend to use a mixture of fresh and dry herbs because the drying process completely changes the flavour. So you can build the sort of herby profile of your dish by using fresh and dry together. So if you bear with me 1 second, while I grab them from my spice rack. I'm going to add just some dry herbs. This is just Italian seasoning. I'm going to add a little bit of that as well, just for an extra layer of flavour there. Start working that together. And then we're going to add some balsamic. There we go. Balsamic vinegar, about a tablespoon. That's going to make it quite rich. Alright, that's looking good. It's looking like a nice solid sauce. And that is kind of the consistency that we want this to end up at. But now, what we're going to do, have a little taste. That is bangers. Well happy with that, just needs a bit of pepper. So, get the pepper in. Alright, then we're going to go in for the rest of the beef stock. So we've got half a pint of beef stock going in here. Okay, so that's going to make your sauce too loose. Okay, so that's now become kind of almost like a soup. And this is where your half-cooked spaghetti comes in. So we're going to drop that now back into the pan. So just help it along, loosen it up. And that half-cooked spaghetti, as it finishes in that sauce, is going to soak up the flavour into the pasta. Now, once this is kind of all incorporated and you're happy, we're then going to nestle those meatballs back into the sauce, and it's just going to kind of poach away and cook and finish off, and it'll get it to the point where your mozzarella inside the meatballs is and kind of melted really. So the spaghetti is, make sure the spaghetti is kind of all submerged, because it's not going to keep cooking if it's not under that water. Once the water's disappeared, that's absolutely fine, because it will have done the cooking. So we've got that, everything is kind of submerged now, that's great. So meatballs go in, and then we're going to just help those along a touch into the sauce, and that's going to keep them cooking. You can turn them over halfway through, that's fine, because they're sealed off, should be great. I'm just going to work those into the sauce. Whoops. Like so, so a couple of minutes on each side. And that'll just finish the cooking process of those meatballs. So that's just going to tick away now. And then, so I'm going to have a little tidy up whilst this is going on. Make my life easier later. As you can see, that's just ticking away at a nice pace. Well, if I were you, if you got lots, I've got a bit of spaghetti smoke poking out there, so just keep helping stuff along. Just keep giving it the odd prod. If you see the spaghetti's really sticking out, or if one part seems like one half is cooking slightly hot on the pan around, just keep working it. Remember, we still need some of this liquid to disappear and intensify that sauce. It's bubbling away lovely, looks great. Can't wait to get stuck in, to be honest. So just keep working. And if you're using your hob at home, you'll probably be able to manage the temperature much better than I can here. You want it on a medium heat really, so you don't want it to be raging, but you do want to see those bubbles appearing. It's not too bad here now. You see those bubbles appearing. If there's steam coming off, which there is, then you know that you're evaporating that liquid, intensifying the flavour. It's always about intensifying the flavours. I'm going to turn these meatballs now so that they cook evenly. So give those a little flip, and I'll probably flip them back towards the end again. That one's got a little bit of a gap, but I can see that the mozzarella hasn't started to escape, so that's fine. You will get that. As I say, if you're watching this back, if for 500 grams, if you make 6 meatballs, 6 big ass meatballs, then you're gonna have less of a problem than I've had with them sort of breaking down. I think I've tried to do too much, but that's fine. We learn all the time. I haven't made these meatballs. I think this is one of the first dishes I made on the Kadai actually for YouTube, which you can probably find if you go back in the archives. Making this dish. That was an edited video rather than a live video. It's wicked, and lots of people have messaged me since putting that out and sort of said that they've made the meatballs and they love the meatballs. Really simple dish. It's a one-pot wonder. I love it, and kids love it, adults love it. It's Friday night. It's kind of a little bit of a treat, a little bit cheeky, a little bit naughty, but actually so much better than a takeaway for you. So yeah, get making it. It's the one. Flip those over, and almost by the time you flip them over, it's time to go back to the first one again and flip them back again. Just constantly turning these meatballs over, cooking away. And again, they're saving the juices, the flavour. You don't want your meatballs to be dry and kind of like a burger. You want them to feel like they've been cooked in this sauce and the part of the process. Don't forget, this will continue to cook when you take it off as well. So you don't necessarily need to cook it until it's too thick. A couple of minutes now. Once that sauce really starting to disappear and we can see that spaghetti peeking through, you know that we're nearly there. And we're not far from that point at all now. Touching the meatballs, if they're nice and firm, you know that they're cooked through. Because they're only probably 1/2 centimetre thick all the way around, it's not going to take long for that meat to cook. But you do want to make sure you cook them long enough. In fact, what I would probably recommend is that you let this dish stand for 5 to 10 minutes before you do serve it, because it's going to continue to cook. It's also going to allow that mozzarella time to melt, so that when you do bust that meatball open, you've got a lovely oozy centre in the middle, yeah? That's what we want. Right. We are nearly there. Make sure as well, if you just I'm just touching the bottom of the pan now, you feel the pasta sticking in any way, then you're probably taking it too far. It should feel like it just comes away. When you come to serve this, you'll be able to scoop it and you're not scraping pasta off the bottom of your pan. That's quite important. That now, I'm going to turn that down, is coming towards being ready for the finishing touches. So, I'm going to say that's done. So I'm going to take that off the heat. I could really do with a heat-proof mat here at this stage. I think I might have one down here. I don't want to mark this awesome board that's made for me by my good friend John, aka Hot Dogs for Tea. If you want to check him out on Instagram, makes the most beautiful wooden boards, knives, like knife handles, and he makes the knives himself as well. Amazing stuff, Shropshire based. Maybe that board for Crazy Delicious, which is a TV show I was on. For those of you who didn't see it or hear about it, look it up. Right, Meatballs off. To me, they're looking absolutely banging. I'm saying I'm obviously modest as well. But yeah, so last thing now, I like to finish, I'm going to turn this off to do my head in. Right, good. Last thing, you can use any cheese you like. This is just actually just a bit of cheap, what is it? Double Gloucester I'm going to use here, but you can use some Parmesan. Parmesan would probably be your number one sort of choice really. But just finish it with some cheese. Let that cheese do its thing. Over the top. You know, you don't want to put too much on there. Now, people can always add more cheese if they wish to the dish afterwards. But a little bit of cheese melt is always welcome. And then I like to finish it just with a few fresh basil leaves. You just lay those on. Try to be quite delicate with them really. Just pinch them off between your fingers and let them, they're a nice little fresh kick to your spaghetti and meatballs, which is now, once this basil is on, ready to eat. I don't know what time, that hasn't taken very long, has it? Half an hour? You've got this awesome Italian meal, a little bit pimped up by the, I'm just going to use a smaller one there, just because make it prettier and even. And there we are. Happy days. I'm going to bring that up. You know, the Italians would probably finish it with a drizzle of olive oil. I'm using rapeseed. I'm going to bring it up to show you. There you go, guys. Spaghetti and meatballs. Stuffed. Happy days. Happy Friday. I'm Shropshire Lad. If you like what you've seen today, please like, subscribe, talk to me in the comments. As I say, I'm going to be off next week. I'm going to chill out, go fishing, do my own thing. I'll be back the week after with some fresh ideas, fresh-faced. You see these bags? Hopefully they'll be gone. All right, much love, man. See you later.